Next up, so we've already had Margaret Mead name dropped once. Now we're going to hear more. Kate.
Thank you. Sorry, Emily, I can't throw that far. Once upon a time, there was a crow in a drought-stricken land. One day he found a pitcher of water on a windowsill and flew down to it, only to despair that he couldn't reach the water in the level of the pitcher. Crows are very smart creatures, so he realized that if he got every member in his murder, also known as a flock, to pick up a pebble and drop it in the pitcher, they could raise the level of the water to which that they could drink it and save themselves from the drought. Sorry, let's take a second. In our communities today, there are all things that we wish were different and we wish we could improve. This is a locally focused time in our country, and I'm asking you today to think differently and consider what ways you can act like the crow in Aesop's fable and raise the water to your level. Margaret Mead is known for this quote. Undoubtedly, you've seen it before. What I'm asking you to do today is consider how you can be a member of one of those groups of committed individuals and create the change in the community that you want to see. Do you want action? Well, wait, don't answer that. My mother's in the audience. But it's worth saying that being a member of the Margaret Mead's Army requires you to think about how you can physically take action in your community to create the change that you want to see. Action isn't something that's done passively. You need to invest yourself in your community. What ideas do you have? What ways can you put forth effort in your community? There are all ways that anybody can benefit in a community. It could be as simple as subscribing to your local paper or going to a local event. We all have gifts that we can give. Some of them are financial, like Jeremy argued, which is very beneficial, and some of them are as simple as becoming a member of a local nonprofit or a civic association in your community and finding a way to partake in the activities already being undergone. My first recommendation to you would be to find collaborators for change. People who may not necessarily be on a bike. They could be your neighbors, they could be business owners, they could be a local civic association. If you connect with them, anything is possible. Margaret Mead's point was that change is always possible. It takes ingenuity and creativity to find the solution to any problem, and sometimes you have to look a little more closely. My main caveat to you would be avoid naysayers. Realism is good, but nothing kills the will for change or positive impact more than people who are not necessarily invested. There's nothing wrong with a little realism, but you want to keep people motivated. When I moved to Cheviot 3 years ago, I immediately realized there was a need for arts programming in our community and a way to represent artists on the West Side, which typically you don't hear a lot about. Through a lot of elbow grease and a successful Kickstarter campaign, last October a group of individuals and I opened up the Broad Hope Art Collective, a boutique art gallery that also offers affordable arts programming to the members of the community that we live in. The success that we've received has been solely dependent on those in our community, and the support that we've received has been overwhelming, as has the will of the people on this journey with me. Thank you, whoever did that. Thank you. My point to you is that this is entirely possible. It wasn't possible potentially on an individual basis, but working together, we were able to create this change. So yes, in a way, your country does need you. The only way to make things better is to build from within with the tools you are given. And this is a time to take use of those tools. Cincinnati is a great incubator for any small business. I consider myself a localist, and I consider the value of my community more important than anything. I want to improve the area around me, and the biggest way that I know I'm doing right is when people come into the store on a nearly weekly basis and thank us for being open. It's possible to create change. Just find collaborators along on the journey with you. There's no treasure map required, and nobody has to do the truffle shuffle, although it's fun to watch. So I encourage you to find those collaborators for change. Be the crow. You don't have to be this crow. You don't need bondage gear or goth makeup to make it happen, but even he had help. Find collaborators for change. They're out there, and nothing invigorates you more than people that want to seek the positive change that you do. The point of Margaret Mead's Army is that, just like the crow in Aesop's fable, any change can be undertaken with a group of committed individuals. And when you get creative with a solution and seek help from others for change, it makes it all the more possible. Don't let this be what people think of when they think of Ohio. I saw this out west. We're all familiar with the Mark Twain quote about Cincinnati being 20 years behind. It doesn't have to be that way. Don't get complacent. Seek the change that you want to see. Take action. Be active. Domestika did an article on us last year, and I love that they picked up on the fact that what we're really trying to do is revitalize the community we live within. And this change is entirely possible. It doesn't take a genius or anybody with lots of money. So I encourage you to seek the change and welcome you to Margaret Mead's Army.